Hello, everyone. So, some of you may have received my email. I'm going to try this again. But I wanted to get with you guys. I had a most excellent meditation and heart of yoga talk from my teacher today. It was a recording from, I believe, Friday. And anyway, she was talking about, well, there was a lot that we talked about, but in the beginning, she was talking about all sorts of different things and basically how, we have no control over many, many things. And of course, it's how we respond. And, we've talked in Mom's yoga classes a zillion times that it's not we're trying to practice on how to respond as opposed to react. So we know we don't want to react. We want to take that pause and respond. So she went on to talk about how when we're, wishing everything is going our way and we want to win the lottery and everything is easy, and it cracked me up. She said, keep on wishing. It's not going to happen. And she let out this nice big belly laugh, and right then and there I was suddenly grounded and feeling better just hearing her voice and hearing her laugh. So I just wanted to share some of the wonderful wisdom and knowledge that she shared with us. So she talked about life being full of tremendous challenges, and I really liked the part that she focused on the fact that, that's how yoga was invented. She even said that's how yoga was invented, everybody, boys and girls. And again, cracking me up. But it's true. And she said if life was hunky-dory, and, I'm paraphrasing, obviously I'm not quoting her here, but, if it was easy street, we have everything that we wanted, why would we need yoga, right? We wouldn't need that healing power of yoga. So yoga came out of not getting what we needed and not having easy street as a way to cope. And not just cope, but, to meet our challenges that come at us and to actually meet them and serve others and ourselves with joy, enthusiasm, and courage. And so this is what yoga really teaches us to do. So if you had this, really fabulous life that you got everything that you needed, you wouldn't need the yoga. However, yoga teaches us that you, even through, many trials and tribulations, she goes on to say you can thrive and have that fabulous life even when things don't go our way. And she even goes further to say that for yogis, which is us, this is a preferable situation. Instead of getting everything that we want, this is a great opportunity, the great yogic test. It's not how well we stand, and this is literally, again, from my teacher, it's not how well we do a stand-up back bend or position our leg behind our head or do a perfect handstand. But the true test of yoga is how we face the challenges and obstacles. We can panic, can freak out and go buy everything at the grocery store. And I think Laura's example was buying up all the toilet paper and how that's not going to help. And she's right, it won't help. But we can, instead of panicking, we can instead choose courage. And, courage does not mean that we're not afraid. We can totally be afraid. We can have fear. But we still move forward and do what needs to be done. And sometimes what has to be done. So it's not about asking for everything to go our way, but asking in your prayers or your God or whatever divine power you look to, instead of asking for everything to go our way, ask to be capable of handling what comes our way. So with these trials and tribulations and harder times and crisis mode and these tremendous challenges, we begin to, learn a little bit. We begin to see the do-gooders and see how people are resilient and how they come together. And there's all kinds of little nice discoveries. Laura, my teacher, even mentioned how she learned how to do an online class because of this. And again, just funny. I too am learning how to do online classes, and she is much better than I. Thank goodness. So anyway, she asks us, and I ask you, and yoga asks us, how can we use this crisis to make us better human beings? This is what yoga asks us. It's a great yogic test. In the history of yoga, there were great crises all around, all throughout the life of yoga. Laura even brought up, these giant armies and how they would try to wipe out all of yoga. They tried to really get rid of yoga. But yoga survived, and it still thrives. And thank goodness, because we all need it. So there are a lot of reasons for practicing, and yes, we gain strength and we gain flexibility, but again, the point is that none of this is what yoga really does for us. Yoga really does help us to learn how to serve, how we can be better human beings. Sometimes we get discouraged because we can't get our leg behind our head, or we don't have the best splits, or we can't get the best standing bow, whatever it may be for you. Maybe you're comparing yourself to the person on the mat next to you. But it is not about that. It's not about what it looks like or how good we think we are. And some of us just get to that point where we think we're a great yogi because we have the best handstand. But that is not what makes a great yogi. It's about how is yoga affecting us as human beings. So Laura went on, I thought this was great too. She talked about David Swenson. I was lucky enough to be at a couple of workshops with him as well. But she talked about how she was at one of his workshops in, I think she said 1981. Forgive me if I'm misquoting. But how they were talking about making yoga an Olympic sport. And, David Swenson said, why not just get the gymnastic team to do it? The real yoga competition would be every 10 years having the heads of state and all the leaders. The test would be how compassionate, how truthful, and how unselfish they are. And that would be the real yoga competition. So I thought that was very interesting. I'm not putting down physical yoga competition. It's just an interesting point to contemplate. So Laura calls on us, and yoga actually calls on us, to renounce our selfish reasons for practicing. Our practice is actually for the benefit of others, to make us more capable of helping other people. And my mom's yoga peeps, you all can remember years ago, I don't think I've said it in a while, but when we come out of Shavasana, I used to say, and I learned this from, again, my teacher Laura, that, thank yourself for practicing yoga, because it not only helps you, but it helps all of those around you. And it's true. So we want to practice non-attachment. That's that, renouncing. Not being attached to object of senses nor action. Renouncing attachment to, I think Laura said, renouncing attachment to huge piles of toilet paper. Again, cracking me up. But she was talking about things that we think we can't live without, but we probably can. And how attached are we to them? She talked about being infatuated with things, and that's, basically saying that we give those things more power than they really should have over us. So yoga asks us to examine, what are we attached to? And to distinguish between our needs and our wants. Do we need to have the best handstand, or do we want to have the best handstand? And who am I serving by having the best handstand? But who am I serving by learning more patience, more empathy, and more compassion? So through this challenge, we need to remind ourselves that yoga is moderation. It's not doing too much or too little. I think Laura even talked about getting the perfect amount of sleep, and not sleeping too much, not sleeping too little, eating the right amount of food, avoiding excess, and too much lack. So yoga gives us the ability to recognize a situation, a behavior, a train of thought that no longer serves us, and to let go of it. So maybe today in meditation, or tonight in meditation, you can sit with yourself and examine, what are you attached to? As yoga teachers, we have a great responsibility, but also yoga students have just as great of a responsibility. It's our dharma to help people by dedicating our practice to the betterment of ourselves, which will in turn be the betterment of other people. We help ourselves, we help our families, our friends, and really all those that we come in contact with. Our post office workers that are tirelessly still out there passing out all kinds of mail with God knows what on it, right? Our sanitation people picking up the garbage and the recycling, a zillion different drivers, flight attendants. We have pilots, crews helping with airplanes so we can get supplies to where they're needed. We have these people working in the grocery stores, clerks, stock people. And we talk about the healthcare workers, and we talk about, people being in the hospital and risking their lives. But all of these people that I just mentioned are risking their lives. And Laura mentioned healthcare workers being great heroes. I think they're all really great heroes. They're just being yogis without maybe some of them even ever practicing yoga. They're showing up with courage and doing what needs to be done. So we can do our part, just as yoga students, as yoga teachers, as yogis, beginning, intermediate, advanced, doesn't matter. We can do our part by continuing to practice and offering our practice up to benefit all of those people, all of the workers, but really everyone surrounding us. So the next time you practice your yoga, take a moment and get really good and clear with your breath and settle yourself in and take a nice deep breath and exhale, and maybe even bring your hands into Anjali Mudra or Namaskar in front of the heart. And just create that intention, that sankalpa, that your practice will not only benefit yourself, making you a better person, but you can actually send that practice energy out to benefit all of us to be better humans. So take a nice deep breath in, find yourself a nice seat, close your eyes. And take as long as you need to just kind of let go. And when you feel good and settled, ask yourself simply, how can I use this crisis to make me a better human? How can I serve others with joy, enthusiasm, and courage? This is our great test. Namaste.